All right, so welcome back to Genius. So in this session, let's talk about, in this chapter, we'll be talking about list. And this is the first session of this chapter. We talk about list basics. Let's get to understand the basics of list. What is list? How do we work with list? And why do we even need it? So the first thing we take a look at, how do we create a list? Okay. A list is the way the name sounds, a list. Okay. You make a list of the textbooks you want to buy. You make a list of the things you want to buy in the market. You make a list of the clothes you want to buy. Whatever it is, you're making a list. You make a list of whatever you want to buy in the market. So you're making a list. So a list is like a collection of items, elements put in one data structure. Okay, so in Python, lists are used to store multiple items in a single variable. All right, multiple items in a single variable. So we use the list to store. So now they are mutable, meaning that their elements can be changed after you create them. Let's say now you create a list of the items you want to buy in the market. All right. Maybe 2 days later, or maybe when you now go to the market, depending on how things happen in the market, maybe cost of things or other things, you might just change some things, delete some things, or add new things. Okay, so they are mutable in the sense that their elements can be changed. After creating them, you can change their element. That's why they are mutable. Okay, lists are also all they are also ordered. All right, so they follow any order you put them. So anyone you put on the top of the list will always be on the top of the list. So they follow an order. So this is how you create an empty list. Okay, to create an empty list, you just create a variable equal to the square bracket. Okay, so let's go to the website, or you can turn into any of your code editor that you're using. So I am here. And how do I create an empty list? I can just say um, my, let's say I want to make a list of my friends. I can just say my friends. Okay, I can just say friends. I can just say friends is equal to this. So this is an empty list. Okay, I do not have any element inside of it yet. Maybe I'm still thinking of the people I want to put in as my friends. So if I print this thing out like this, it's going to be an empty list. Nothing is going to be in it because I have not added anything in it. So this is one way of creating list, but this is an empty list. Okay, so this is how you create a list. Then, after creating an empty list, you can start adding elements inside of it. Okay, so there's another way of creating list. Okay, this way, instead of making it an empty list, maybe you already know your friends. So you could just, or let's say you have a list of fruits. Okay, you already know them beforehand. So you can just go back here and let's make a list of our favorite fruits. So I can say I love apple. All right. I love orange. Okay. I love mango. All right. So you see, the first one is an empty list. This one now is not an empty list. Okay, so here I already know what I want, the list of my fruits, of my favorite fruits. So this is list of strings. All right, you can see all the elements here are strings. So you can also do list of numbers. Let's say I can say the scores of my students in a test. So I can say this guy scored 23, 45, 89, 56, like that. So this is a list of integers. It could also be a list of floats. Okay, so the list can contain any data type at all. You can use any data type at all. Okay. All right. So we can also have a mixed list. When we say we have a mixed list, it means that the lists are not, they have different data types in it. So look at what I mean. Okay, if I come here, all right, I can have a mixed list, okay. I can have a mixed list like this, and I will say, okay, this can contain integer, it can contain strings, it can contain floats, okay? It can contain Boolean. So this is a mixed list. So in Python, you can actually have a mixed list like this. A mixed list is like a list that contains different data types. But a pure list is one that does not contain, they only have the elements in it are just of the same data type. But a mixed list is one that have different data types. The elements are of different data types. Okay, all right. So you can also create a list using the list constructor. Now, we use this list constructor whenever you want to convert maybe a set or a tuple or a dictionary to a list. That is where we use it. So in case you have a tuple, all right, you can convert it to a list using this list constructor. Okay, so we haven't talked about tuple yet. Okay, let me show you how to do this. So I can create a list from tuple. Okay. I can create a list, tuple list. Okay. And I'm going to use the list constructor or list for this list constructor, but I'm going to convert, let's say I already have a tuple. Let me say my my tuple and I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So if I want to convert this tuple to a list, all right, I will use this list constructor or this list function. I'll pass in my tuple inside. So it's going to convert this my tuple now to a list. So if I go on and print tuple list, okay, this tuple that has 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, don't worry, we'll talk about the differences between, we'll talk about tuple in the next chapter. Okay, so tuple is different from the list. Okay, so now I can convert this tuple. All right, I will pass this tuple to this list, and this function or this constructor, list constructor, will convert this tuple to a list. And if I print it, I'm going to have it as a list. You can see it's a list here. Meanwhile, it was a tuple before. So we converted this tuple to a list. So you use this list constructor function to actually convert whether list, even sets. Okay. I can also convert, don't worry, we'll also talk about set in a separate chapter. I can have set like this, and I can convert it to a list. And when I run this thing, I'm still going to get it as a list. So this is another way. Then another way of creating a list is using the range function. Using the range function, let me show you what this range function actually does. So basically, I'm actually going to take everything out here, and I can just say range. Okay, I'll say range between 1 and 10. Give me between 1 and 10. So if I print this thing, I'm actually going to get, okay, um, okay, let me do something like this. Okay, is equal to, okay, maybe what I'm trying to do here is not feasible. Okay, so this range, you can only use it when you're iterating. So if I run this, I must still get the same thing. Okay, don't bother. Okay, so I wanted to show you something about range. So you can use range to create a list. Okay, so now if you watch, my range was not giving me what I was expecting. So I have to convert this range to a list. So if I have this range here, okay, if I want, this is, I'm having this range and this is what is printing for us, but I can convert this range to a list using the list constructor. So I'll just pass in the range. So what this range does is that it will create numbers for you between the first argument and the last argument. So if I run this thing, I'm converting this range to a list. So if I run it now, I can get 1 through 9. Okay, so range will create will create a range of numbers for you between the first argument you gave it and the last argument, but the last argument will not be inclusive. If you watch, we don't have 10 here. So in case you want to include 10, you can actually do 11 so that it will be between 1 and 10. So if I run it now, it will give us between 1 and 10. Okay, so this is another way you can create lists. So all you have to do is to convert the range using the list constructor function to convert it to a list, and then you will get the list. Okay, so there are several ways you can create list. You can also create list using the list comprehension. I don't know if I'm supposed to explain this thing here, but when we talk about for loop, okay, maybe we can now talk about this list comprehension. Okay, I think it will be more advanced. We haven't talked about for loop, but oh, okay, I think I will just leave this. Okay, but for people who could understand, let me just give it. Let me just if you don't understand, don't bother. Okay, so what we are doing here is this: we are looping through this range. This range is going to give us something between 0 and 5. Then we are saying for x in, don't worry, I think I should leave this thing, okay? Because we haven't talked about loops, okay? So I think I should leave it, okay? You can also create a list using the repetition operator. So if you have a list like this, if you multiply it by any number at all, it will give you, it will multiply, it will repeat that, the elements you have by the number of, by the number you are multiplying it for. Okay, so let me do something. Let's go on. I think it will be best explained if I show you here. So let's say I have norms like this. Okay, and I'll say I have 1, 2, 3. So if I go on and say, if I say print norms times 2, all right, it is going to create a list of 1, 2, 3, 2 times, all right, because I'm multiplying it by 2. So if I run it like this, I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, if I multiply it by 3, I'm going to get 3 of the 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is how it works. So this is the repetition way. You can actually, the thing is, as you keep writing your code, there will be need for all these things. Okay. So how do you access the elements in your list? Of course, when you have the list, all right, you want to make use of the elements that you have in your list. So you can access elements in a list using the index, using indexing. All right, we'll talk about each of them one by one. You can also do that, access elements in the list using slicing. You can also use loops. Okay, so now let's take a look at the first one, indexing. Okay, accessing elements using indexing. Okay, so Python uses zero-based indexing, meaning that the first element is at 0 position. So remember that lists, like I said, they are ordered data structures. Okay, so when you have fruit like this, you have apple, banana, cherry, and date. Their positions, Apple, you might think that when we talk about indexing, we start from 0 position. We don't start at 1. So the first position here is 0. The first index here is 0. So Apple is at the index of 0. Banana is at the index of 1. Cherry is at the index of 2. Date is at the index of 3. All right. So if I want to access the first element, if I want to access Apple, I will use their index. Apple is at the index of 0. So if I say fruit, square bracket 0, I will get the first element. Okay. If I say fruit, give me the second, this 2, index of 2, it will give me the third element. Okay. So now before I go into this negative one, let's just go and see some example here. So look at it. I have norms 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. If I say I want to find out the first, I want to get TC one, the element 1 is at index of 0. All right. The element 2 is at index of 1. The element is at index of 2. 4 is at index of 3. 5 is at index of 4. So if I want to get I want to get 1, I will say norms square bracket like this 0, because I want to get the one element 1, and the position is index 0. So when I print it, I'm going to get 1. So if I want to access the element 4, I will check the index 0, 1, 2, 3. So element 4 is at index 3. So I'm going to use 3 here. And when I run this, I'm going to get 4. So this is how you do it by indexing. How do you access elements? By indexing. You would type in the name of the list, open the square bracket like this, not curly brace. So open the square bracket, then put in the index. Put in the index of the element. So, but if you try to get index that does not exist, if I try to get index 5, do we have index 5 here? No, we don't. We only have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't have any element at index 5. So when we try to run this, we are going to get index out of error. We are going to get this index out of error because Python didn't see any element at that index. So Python will throw an index error. Okay, so list index out of range. So you're trying to access an element that does not exist via in an index. This index doesn't exist, so that is why we have this index error. So always make sure that you actually have you're using the right index. Make sure that the index you're trying to access exists in the list. So when you try to use negative indexing, all right, you will be accessing the elements from behind, from the end. So if I try to say, I want to, of course, I cannot do -0, but I can, if I do -1, all right, I'm going to access the last element. So this is also a trick. If you want to access the last element of a list, you use negative index 1. So if I try to say negative index 1, I'm going to get 5 because 5 is the last index. So -1, if you're using negative indexing, you're going to get from behind. It will start counting from behind. If I say -2, my -2 is going to give us 4 because 4 is at index, the second element from behind. Okay, the second element from behind. If I try to say -3, it will give me the third index from behind. So just be careful how you use this. When you're counting from the front of the list, you're actually going to use 0. It will start from 0. If you try to access from behind, from the end, it will start from -1. If you try to do -0, of course, there will be an error. There's nothing like, is there anything like -0? I don't think so. So let's see, we're going to get an error. I think, oh, okay. Okay, look at what happened here. Okay, it gave us, instead of -0, I think he converted it to +0. So he gave us 1. So if you try to do -0, it will start from the beginning. All right. So sometimes we just experiment and learn more. So when you say -1 here, it's going to give us the last element, which is date. Okay. So if you say -3 to give us the last, the third, the third element from behind. Okay. All right. So how do you access multiple elements using slicing? Okay, you can also access elements, multiple elements using slicing. Let's say you have this list like this, 0 through 7, and you want to access a portion of the list. You don't just want to access one element, you want to access a portion. You want to access a portion, okay? So what you do here is this. Instead of providing one, when you're inside the square bracket, instead of providing one value, you're going to, this is how the slicing goes. There will be a colon between two numbers. So if I go on now and say, I want a portion of this, between, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I want a portion of it. So if I say start from 0 index, and then colon, give me 3. Sorry, give me 3. So look at what is going to happen. I said I want a portion starting from index 0. All right, the first item here is the start index, and the last item here, the second item here, is the end index, but it will not be inclusive. So if I say start from 0 and end at index 3, it will start from 0, 1, 2. 3 will not be inclusive. So if I say start from index 0 and end at index 3, index 3 will give us element 4, but it is not going to be inclusive. So if I run this code now, we are going to get 1, 2, 3. Okay, so start from index 0, 0, 1, 2, and don't include the element at index 3. So that's why we got it. So we are able to get multiple elements. So it's like a portion of it's like a slice, a slice of bread. Okay, a slice of bread. So you can get a slice of bread. So here we are getting a slice of the list. So we are getting a portion of it. Okay, so um then, if you did not include the first, if you don't include the start index, it would assume that you're starting from 0. Okay, let me show you something. So I can start from I can start from index 2 and say start from index 2 and end at index 4. So index 2 is what? Index 2 is will start from element 3. So and index 4 is 5. But remember, the end index will not be inclusive. So 5 will not be inclusive. So we are going to start from index 2, which is 3. 3 is at index 2. So we start 3 and 4. So that's what we are going to get here. So we are only getting 3 and 4 because the start index is 2 and the element at index 2 is 3. But if you omit, if you look at it, if you omit the start index, Python would assume that you want to start from the beginning. So Python would assume that you're starting from index 0. So we are now going to get 1, 2, 3, and 4. Do you understand it? Okay, so this is it. So if you now if you do not provide any of them, both the start index and the end index, but you provide the colon, Python would assume you want all the elements in the list. So start index is not provided, end index is not provided, but this is how you do it. Okay, but there must be a colon in here. So when you run this code, now you're going to get everything. Okay, you're going to get everything. So if you also give the start index and you don't provide the end index, Python would assume that you want it till the last element. So if I say start from index 2, which is 3, and I do not provide the end index, Python would start from index 2, which is 3, and give me everything else from there to the end of the list. So it will give me everything. So it will give me 3, 4, 5. Okay, so these are the things you need to play around with. Okay, it will take some time for you to master them. Okay, now you can also you can also skip. All right, so you can also skip. Now, if if you provide a third item here, all right, if you provide a third item in this square bracket, Python will take it as you're skipping. So if I say start from index 0 and give me everything, then I will now put another colon and say 2. Look at what is going to happen. Look at how I did it. The start index is 0. And because I do not have, I want from 0 to the end of it, I did not provide anything as the end index, but I still added another colon then before 2. So look at what the Python is going to do. Python will take the first one, skip the next one, give me the second one, skip this other one, give me the next one. So if I run it like this, you're going to get 1, 3, 5. You see, this is like the skip seed or something. I don't know how else I can put it. But with this, okay, I'm telling Python, give me every start from the index 0 and give me every two element. So start from 0, give me 1, give me the next 2, which is 3, give me the next 2, which is 5. So this is a way of skipping. Okay, so but you would have to provide this colon like this. So even if you do still don't provide the colon like this, Python will assume that the start index is 0 and the end index is you want everything. But if you now provide another colon and put the seed, if I say give me seed 1, all right, it's going to give us everything. If I say this other one to be 3, so Python will give me the first one, give me it will not give me the third one after the first one, which is 1 and 4. And it will not give us 5 because 5 will not, the third one will be more than 5. So we're going to get only 1 and 4, I think so. Yeah, it give us 1 and 4. So play around with this slicing, okay? Play around with it, okay? Play around with it. Now, if you try to provide a negative value here, let's say -1, Python is going to give you a reversed version of the list. So this is another way of creating a reverse version. If I provide -1, Python is going to give me the reverse of it. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here I'm now having 4, 5, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Because I provided the seed, I provided a minus. If I say -2, okay, it would do the reverse and give me 5, 3, and 1. So if the last one, the last parameter here is minus, is a negative number, Python will reverse the array. Okay, so let's say I want to get a reversed array. So I can just take this guy out here and I will say reversed array is equal to, I'll do this. So if I do this, if I say -1, Python is going to create the reverse of the previous array that I have. And if I run it, I'm going to get 5, 4. So that's the reverse. And if you also say -2, that means it's going to be skipping it by 2. All right. If you say -3, the only difference now is that it's going to reverse it. Okay. So this is one way of reversing your list. Okay. All right. So you can also use a loop to access the elements. In as much as we haven't talked about loops in Python, we'll talk about it later on, but let me just show you. We can use the for loop. Okay, so if I have a list like let's say I have fruits like this. Okay, and I have apple, I have banana, and I have let's say mango. So I can use a for loop, all right, to access. So I can say for fruits, don't worry, we'll still talk about for loops, okay? For fruit in fruits. Okay, sorry. Colon. For fruits in fruit, I want to print out the fruit. So this is how I've been able to access. So I'm saying for fruits in fruits. All right, I want to print the fruit. So if I print it now, we are going to get um, all the elements we have there. So we'll get apple, banana, and mango. So don't worry, this might be a little advanced right now, but when we talk about for loops, you're going to understand how it works. So, but you can also use for loops to access your elements. So there's another one we call the enumerate function. If you want to have access to the index, when we use the for loop, we didn't have access to the index. But if you want to have access to the index, all right, you would have to, instead of just saying fruit in fruits, you're going to say fruit in enumerate fruits so that you can now have access to the index. So if I go on and say, instead of saying fruit in fruits, I can say fruit in enumerate. Okay, fruit in enumerate like this, but it would also give me the index. So I can now say for index, comma. All right. So I can print the formatted string like this, and I will say okay, I can say fruit, all right, is at index. I will not put index here. Okay. So look at what I'm doing here. I'm using the formatted string. I've mentioned this thing before, so you should know about it. I'm using the formatted string and I'm saying this particular fruit we are enumerating is at index. So here, if I want to get access to the index of the elements in the list, I would use the enumerate function. And when I do this, I'm going to have access to it. So apple is at index 0, banana is at index 1, and mango is at index 2. So if I want to use position, I can just say position, then I will say index plus 1. Since it starts from 0, so index plus 1 will now say apple is at position 1, banana is at position 2, mango is at position 3. Okay? All right. So that is how you um, access elements using the for loop and also using the enumerate function. So how do you check if an element exists in a list? So there is this function this operator we call the imp operator. So I could say exists is equal to, I will not say, I can say apple. Look at how I'm doing it. I'm putting it in a string and I say in fruits. Okay, so I'm saying is apple in fruits. This is the membership operator. This is one of the operators in Python. It is called the membership operator. So we're using it to say, is apple a member of this fruit? So let's go and print out what we have. Our exist. Our exist will give us either true or false. All right, so does apple exist in fruit? Yes, it exists in fruit. So we'll get true. If we say orange, of course, orange does not exist. So it will give us false. So this is how you get to check if a particular element is a member of a list. All right. So this is how it works. So how do you modify lists? Okay, how do you modify lists? Okay, so you can modify Python lists by changing elements, adding new ones, and removing existing ones. Okay, so now let's change elements in a list. So how do you modify elements in the list? So how do you modify them? How do you change them? So, but if you want to modify them, you have to use, first of all, you can use the index. So I can say I have a list like this, and I'm saying the element at index 1, change it from, the element we have here is banana. So we want to change this banana. So we'll get the element at index 1 and assign it to blueberry. All right. So once you do this, if you now print the fruit, you're going to get blueberry. So let's go on and see. So we have our fruit. So we want to change. Okay, let's say you now went to the market. Banana was too costly. You just have to change the list, and instead of banana, you want to change it to orange. So what you have to do is you have to get the index. The banana is at index 1. So you now say fruit square 1 is equal to, you now put orange. So here you have changed your list. So you have changed the element at index 1 to be orange. So if I go on now and print the fruits, if I go on and print the fruits now, oh, sorry, this is fruit, not fruit. Oh, it wouldn't have worked. Okay, so if I go on now and print the fruits now, you're going to see that banana has been replaced by orange. We have replaced the banana with orange, okay? Because this is how you modify. You put the name of the list, then get the index. Which element, what index do you want to change? You get the index and assign a new value to it. That is how you change it, okay? So you can also add elements to a list. If you want to add elements to a list, one of the method we use is the append. When you use the append method, when you call the append method on a list, you will be adding that element at the end of the list. So look at it. When we say fruit.append, we are appending date. So when you now print it, we are going to have date at the end of it. So let me show you. So append method is one of the ways we use to add something to the list. So I can say fruit.append. So this append method, I want to append what? I want to append orange. All right. So the original one we have here, we do not have orange. So when I use the append method, I say fruit dot append. So in parentheses, I will not add the element I want to add. So when I print out this fruit, then you will see that orange will be added at the end of it. Do you understand? If I also say fruit dot append, okay, if I also append um, pear, okay, all right, you will see that pear will now have orange and pear at the end. So the append method would add that element at the end of the list, okay. So, but if you want to, if you want to add an element at a particular index, you use the insert. When you use the append method, it will insert it at the end. But when you want to insert it at a particular index, a specific position, you will have to use the insert method. So here we are inserting this mango at the index of 1. So that means it's going to shift the other indices, other elements, and add this at the end of 1. So let's go. Let's go with our example. So I want to add this orange at the beginning, or I want to add it at index 1. Remember, banana is at index 1. So if I go on and say insert, all right, and this insert, first one will take the position, that's the index. So I want to insert it at index 1. So if I insert this at index 1, that means this banana will be shifted. So the orange will now come before the banana at position at index 1. The banana will now occupy index 2. If I also say I want to also insert this pear at index, mango is at index 2. So I want to shift it from, oops. So I want to add it at the index 2. So it will shift this mango to 3. All right. So if I print it now, you're going to see that orange will not be at index 1, pear will not be at index 2. You see, orange is at index 1 and pear is now at index 2. So you can add, you can modify, or you add using the append. That will, if you use the append method, it will append it at the end. Okay, to add it at the end of the list. But if you use the insert, you provide a specific position, a specific index you want to add it to, and it will add it there. You can also add element to a list using the extend. So when you have multiple elements that you want to add, something like another array, all right, you will not use the extend. If you want to add single elements, you can use the append or the insert. But if you want to add multiple elements, something like another array, so we can say we want to extend because we want to add multiple items. We will use the array like this and we'll say orange, but it is going to add it at the end though. It will add it at the end. You say orange, we say pear. Okay, so when we run this, it's going to add this new one at the end. Okay, at the end, you see orange and pear came at the end. So let's try something. Let's not put this array like this. Let's just add multiple elements like this and see if it would also work. I haven't tried it before. So let's try it and see if it will work. Okay, there's an error. Okay, please. If you are using the extend, it has to be an array, a list like this. Okay, okay, it has to be a list like this. If not, it will throw an error. Okay, all right. So this extend method is expecting a list. Okay, so this is how you add kiwi and orange to the list, and you extend it, and this other array will be added at the end of it. So how do you remove a list? How do you remove elements from a list? You can use the remove method. The remove function will remove by value. So this removal, you have to give it the name of the element or the element itself. So if I say I want to remove, what do we have here? If I want to remove banana, okay, if I want to remove banana, I will say fruits dot remove, all right? Fruits dot remove, I want to remove banana. So I'm going to give it, I'll give it the value. So if in case I was working with a list of integers, I will have to give the value. So remove will ask you for the value. So when we remove this thing, now we no longer have banana in our list. Sorry, there is an error. Oh, sorry, I used, there's two dots there. So I was using two dots. That was why I got that error. So it's telling me, look at the error here. Look at the error message. It's saying I'm using two dots. So I have removed the one now. So when I run the code, so you can see now we have removed banana. Okay, using the remove method. You can also use the pop method, but the pop method will remove by index. And when the pop method, when you remove that element, it will return it back. So in case you want to work with it, you can also work with it. So with the remove method, you're giving it the value. But with the pop method, you're giving it the index. But the pop method will return, it will return that element back to you. So let's say we want to, let's assume, let's try and see if this remove method will return the, okay, let's try and see if it does, if it also returns. Okay, it doesn't return anything. The remove method will not return anything. But if you're using the pop, if you're using the pop, all right, you give it the index. Okay, the pop works with the index of the element. So let's say we want to still remove banana. The index of banana is 1. And then this pop will return the element that was removed. So I'm going to also say print fruits. Okay, so we are the first print we have here is the removed element, which is going to be banana, and we're also printing out the fruit so that we'll see that the banana was eventually removed. So when I print, you see, we get banana as the removed item. All right, then the fruit, in the fruit, banana has also been removed. Okay. So you can also remove elements using delete. Okay, when you delete like this. Okay, you're not going to use the any method. So you delete by indexing. So if I say delete fruit of index 0, I'm going to delete the first element. So if I go on and say, okay, I'll still leave this one, but I will say delete, and I will say fruits of, let's also delete banana, but banana, the position of banana is 1. So if I use the delete function, the delete keyword like this, all right, it will delete banana for us because the banana is at index 1. So when I run this, we're no longer going to see the banana. The banana is removed or deleted. Okay. All right. So you can also remove by, now if you use the clear method, you will remove every element. The clear method will remove every element. So if I go on and say fruits dot clear is going to remove everything. So be careful. So when I print our fruit is now going to be an empty list because we have removed everything. So with the clear method, you remove everything, okay? All right. So we can also do reverse. We can reverse. You have seen one way of reversing using the slice method. You put the colon, then a negative seed or a negative skip value. All right, that's one way. Another way is that you can also use you can sort actually. You can also sort an array. So let me show you how to, you just call the sort method on it. Apple, banana, mango is actually sorted. So, but if I try to say, um, I put orange here, all right, okay, and I put pear, sorry, I put pear here, all right, and if I call the sort method, if I call the sort method on this fruit, it's going to be sorted. Look at it, it's not sorted. Of course, apple comes before orange because A comes before O. B comes before O, so it's not sorted like this. But if I call the sort method on it without any parameters, if I call it like this, it's going to sort it for us. And we see it has been sorted out. It's now apple, banana, mango, orange, and pear. All right. So it has been sorted out. So you can also reverse. If you want to reverse this, after sorting it, if you want to reverse it, you can just call the reverse method on the reversed like this. Oops, sorry. Reversed. If you call the reverse method, sorry, there is an error. Reversed. Oops. Reversed is S. So after sorting it, you can also reverse it. So if you reverse it, that means peer will come first. So fruit.reversed will give it to you. Oops, there's an error. There's an error. Where's the error? No, reversed. I think I'm not getting the. Okay. Sorry, it's not reversed. It is reverse. I'm so sorry. It's not reversed. It is reverse. And why am I getting? Think reverse. Okay. So why am I not getting it as a keyword? There's also going to be an error. Something is not. Norms dot reverse. So why am I? Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm not going to print it right away from here. Okay, I'll cut it out and I will say reverse is equal to this. Okay. But if I call, I think something is wrong, but I don't know what is wrong here. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Um, norms dot reverse. Reversa. Maybe my spelling is wrong. Ersa. Maybe my spelling is wrong. Okay, this is Rev. Reverse is correct now. Fruits dot reverse. Wow. What is wrong here? Sorry. Okay, so what is going on here? This is not what I was expecting actually. Okay, let me try norms. Okay, norms is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, this is common, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I say norms. Oops, something is wrong. Okay. Okay, so just let me just copy this code from here. Okay, let me just copy this and paste it and see where having this. It's still the same thing. Ooh, okay. So what was I doing wrong now? Okay. Norms dot reverse. Okay. Um, none dot reverse. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me try something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I try to run this again, I'll see. Okay, I don't know why my own wasn't working then. Okay, let me try it again. Let me try it again. I have a norms like this and is equal to 1, 4, 6, 8, 3, 5. Okay, so if I call the reverse method, I'll say print norms dot reverse. I think this my reverse is spelled correctly. And if I run this, wow, it's still giving me this. But if I say reverse is equal to norms dot reverse, okay, and I'll print reverse. Wow. Okay, sorry, it's not norms, it's norms. Okay. Wow. Maybe I have to sort first. So if I say num dot sort, okay, nums, not nums dot sort. Wow. I paste the code back again. I have this here. Nums dot sort is ascending order. I print this. It's almost the same thing I was doing now, but anyways, I don't know what was wrong with my own code, but this is working here. They had the array is here. It was sorted here. Okay, let me just take out this other sorting and run without sorting. It still works. So I don't know why my own was giving me that. Okay, I'm sorry. Wow, wow, wow. I've seen the error. Okay, let's go back to what I used to have. I was trying to, okay, so I say nums is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, the error I was having here was that I was returning something from the reverse. Meanwhile, I'm not supposed to do that. So um, if I say nums dot reverse like this, all right, it doesn't return anything. So the only thing is that it has modified the array. So I can just go on and print the num. Yeah, that was my error. So look at it. I have this array. All right, I have this array one, two, sorry, not array. I'm sorry. JavaScript calls this list array. That's why I'm saying array. So this is a list. I have this list that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I call the reverse method on the reverse function on it. Okay, so it's going to reverse and it will modify this whole thing and get the reverse. So this is what I was supposed to print. I wasn't supposed to be printing the other rev I was printing. So that was the mistake. So if I run this now, you can see it has reversed it. So it has started from 5. So there are different ways you can reverse. This is one way, calling the reverse method on the on the list will reverse the element. Another way of reversing this list is, let me comment this one out. Remember, we did the slice and colon -1. It's another way you can reverse this array. So if I still run it, it will reverse it. It will start from 5 down. So another way of reversing this thing is also you can call the reversed method. There is a function by reversed like this. Sorry, this is reserved. I should say reversed. Okay, and then you pass in the list. So this is the third way, all right, of reversing. So if I call this now, it would also reverse it. And the thing is this, this reversed will return an iterable. Don't worry, you don't know what an iterable is now, but look at it. Okay, let me say I was able to save this. I can say rev is equal to, and I now call this reverse function on this list. Okay, then because I am going to get an iterable, I should now loop through. All right, because I'm going to get this. When I call it, oh, sorry, this is not supposed to be in parentheses like this. So this third method I'm using, it will return something we call an iterable. Don't worry, in the advanced Python, we'll be talking about that. So for me to get the elements, so I'm going to say for num in nums. So, and then I'm going to print them. So you're going to see that they are going to come out in reversed order. So normally, before reversing, okay, before I call this reverse method, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But after reversing it, okay, then look at how they are going to be printed from 5 down. So it was also reversed. Oops, no, sorry. I was calling nums. Okay, this also makes sense. So let me call the unreversed one and the reversed one. So the reversed one, this iterable is in rev. Okay, is in rev. So first of all, we are looping through the unreversed, and the second one we are looping through the reverse. So just look at the difference. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let me print. Let me print something to demarcate them. I can say new line. I can say new line. Then I'll print this thing. and I'll also say new line. So if I run this, and it's going to demarcate them. Okay, you can see the first one that is not reversed, the norms is not reversed. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this rev, after calling this reverse function on the list, we now got it reversed. Okay, so there are three ways you can reverse: using the slice method, using the calling the reverse method on the list, and also using the reversed function from Python. Okay, so all right, so we can continue. I think this is even the last slide that we have here. So this is how you can sort. You can use this one, the sort method to sort. You can use the reverse method to reverse it. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we end this session. It has been a long one, okay, but if you find anything confusing, please reach out to us. Make sure you do your assignment, and we'll see you in the next session. Thank you.